Your cat just scratched you, or knocked your coffee off the table, or hissed at you when you picked them up at exactly the wrong moment. And now they're sitting across the room watching you. Just watching. Most people think they know what's happening in that moment. Nothing. They assume their cat has no idea what they just did. No guilt, no awareness. Just a small, chaotic creature moving on with its life. But here's what's actually happening. Your cat is running through a very specific social sequence, one that behavioral scientists have documented across multiple studies. And if you know what to look for, you'll never misread your cat after a conflict again. By the end of this video, you'll be able to read exactly what your cat is communicating when they think they've pushed things too far. Cats don't apologize the way humans do. There's no verbal "I'm sorry," no hangdog look, no tail tucked in shame. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Feline behavioral researchers, including teams at the University of Lincoln and the University of Sussex, have documented that cats use a specific set of calming signals and affiliative behaviors after moments of tension. These aren't random, they're wired in, and they map surprisingly closely to reconciliation behaviors seen in other social mammals. We're going to go through 7 of these behaviors, starting with the most common one you've probably been misreading, all the way to the signal that means your cat has fully decided to let it go. Let's start with the one that's been there your whole life, you just never knew what it meant. The very first thing many cats do after a tense moment is look directly at you and slowly close their eyes. This is called a slow blink, and in feline social language, it means, "I'm not a threat, we're okay." Cats only close their eyes fully around individuals they trust. In the wild, closed eyes mean vulnerability. Your cat is choosing that vulnerability with you, deliberately, right after a conflict. Dr. Karen McComb at the University of Sussex published research confirming that cats not only initiate slow blinks after social tension, they also respond to slow blinks from humans. The exchange functions like a trust handshake. If your cat locks eyes with you after a rough moment and then slowly, peacefully closes them, they're not zoning out. They're reaching across the room and saying something in the only language evolution gave them. But the slow blink is just the beginning. Watch what they do with their body next. After a conflict, pay attention to where your cat goes and whether they come back. Cats that are working through tension will typically leave the immediate space. They regroup. They put distance between the two of you. But then, quietly, without announcement, they come back. This is documented in social mammal research as a proximity return, and it's one of the clearest signs of post-conflict affiliation. It says, "I withdrew to manage the pressure, but I'm not leaving." For cats, animals that are simultaneously predator and prey, controlling distance is everything. Coming back into your personal space after tension is a deliberate override of the instinct to retreat. It costs them something. When your cat wanders back into the same room after a fight, they're not coming for water, they're coming for you. Now, here's where it gets a little more nuanced. Sometimes a cat will approach after conflict and start licking you. Your hand, your arm, maybe even your face if you let them close enough. Most people read this as random affection. It isn't. This is called ally grooming, social grooming between individuals, and in cats, it is reserved almost entirely for individuals they consider close social partners. Cats do not ally groom strangers. They do not ally groom animals they're uncertain about. When your cat licks you after tension, that's a targeted social repair. They are, in the most literal biological sense, trying to smooth things over. Here's the nuance. Not every cat will do this. Cats with more reserved personalities, or those not handled much as kittens, may not have allogrooming in their toolkit with humans. The absence of licking doesn't mean the absence of forgiveness. Don't read too much into what they don't do. Pay closer attention to what they do. And this next one, a lot of people get it exactly wrong. After a hiss or a scratch, some cats will walk up and press their forehead directly into you, hard. This is called head bunting, and it is consistently misread as cute pushiness. It's not. Head bunting is a scent marking behavior. Cats have glands along their forehead and cheeks, and when they press against you, they're depositing their scent, reclaiming you as theirs after a moment of rupture. Here's the mistake most people make. They pull away, or laugh, or don't respond at all. What they should do is lean back into it, gently. Because the head bunt is an invitation, it's your cat saying, "Let's reestablish that we belong to each other." When you lean in and accept it, you're completing the ritual. When you don't respond, you leave it unfinished. If your cat has ever head bunted you after a rough moment and you didn't know what to do, now you do. If you're the kind of person who pays this much attention to what their cat is actually doing, not just what they look like, then this channel was made for you. Hit subscribe if you want more of this. Real cat behavior, real science, explained for the cat you already live with. Now, let's keep going, because the next one is the signal most people miss entirely. After a conflict, a hiss, a scratch, a tense standoff, some cats will approach and make a short, rolling sound. Not a meow, not a purr, something in between. A trill, a chirp. Most people hear it and think nothing of it. That's a mistake. Trills and chirps are greeting vocalizations. Cats use them when approaching individuals they feel warmth toward, usually with tail raised and body relaxed. They are the opposite of threat sounds. They are contact sounds, sounds that say, I see you, I'm coming toward you, and this approach is friendly. When a cat uses a trill after conflict, they are choosing their reconciliation vocabulary deliberately. They're not just returning to the room. They're announcing the return with a sound that signals, we're okay. Behavioral researchers have documented the trill as part of a broader post-conflict sequence. It's often the first verbal move before proximity, grooming, and bunting follow. Most people walk right past this moment without hearing it. Now you won't. After some conflicts, especially ones the cat clearly knows were their fault, they'll roll over, belly up, fully exposed. This is the most vulnerable position a cat's body can be in. The belly contains every vital organ. In the wild, exposing it means trusting that nothing around you will exploit the opening. When your cat shows you their belly after a conflict, they're not necessarily asking to be touched there. That's a different signal, and honestly, often a trap. They're making a statement about where you stand. The belly flash says, whatever just happened, I still trust you, completely. For an animal whose entire evolutionary history is built around managing vulnerability and assessing threat, choosing to expose the softest part of their body to you after a fight is the deepest social gesture they have access to. Some cats never do it. The ones who do are saying something extraordinary about how they see you. Which brings us to the last one, and honestly, the most important. The final thing cats do when they've decided to forgive and to keep forgiving is this. They return. Not just once, every time. They may retreat after a conflict, they may need space, but they come back. For an animal with the autonomy of a cat, this is a choice. Cats are not pack animals bound by social structure to stay. They don't have to sleep at the foot of your bed. They don't have to follow you into the kitchen. They don't have to choose your lap over every other surface in the house. They do it because they've decided repeatedly that you are worth the risk of closeness. Studies on feral cats, who find their own food and have no dependency on humans for survival, still show strong social bonds forming with specific trusted individuals. It's not the food bowl keeping your cat here. It's the choice. Every single time your cat returns to you after a hard moment, whether they slow, blink, trill, head bunt, groom, or just quietly sit nearby, they are renewing a decision that you are safe, that you are theirs, that whatever just happened, it wasn't enough to end this. That's not tolerance. That's forgiveness. So the next time your cat scratches you, or hisses, or knocks your coffee off the counter and stares at you like you did something wrong, watch what happens in the next 10 minutes. Watch for the slow blink across the room, the quiet return, the forehead pressed into your cheek, the small trill you almost didn't hear. Your cat doesn't have the word sorry, but they have an entire language built for exactly this moment, built for repair, for closeness, for choosing you again after choosing wrong. You just needed to know what to listen for. Your cat can't say sorry, but if you've been paying attention, they've been saying it all along. If you want to go deeper into how cats communicate, I made a video on the 7 things your cat does that most owners completely misread. The meanings will surprise you. It's right here when you're ready.